Hi everyone and welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 183. And
Hey, look at you getting the intro right on the third attempt.
the first attempt I stopped because you were making too much noise, so I don't think that's my fault. Anywho, Ian's here and he's annoying. And he wants to talk about disinformation, which I don't think is a word.
It is.
Okay. Well,
I
I don't think it is. So therefore that's the end of the podcast.
Was it word of the year recently, maybe?
Oh, who keeps up with that kind of
I
stuff?
don't know. It's also the fact that there's like 10 words of the year. It's confusing. And some of them aren't even words.
You can't have 10 words of the year.
Also, it's like Collins will come up with one, and Oxford Dictionary will come up with one, and Dictionary.com will come up with one.
They should all agree, I feel.
Yeah.
Anywho, disinformation, what's that mean?
Disinformation. Also, I thought I'd talk a little bit about how you did the video up in the city, showing what I'd done. What?
No, I'm just clearly you want to talk about something that you knew I would say, no, I don't want to talk about that with you. So you're like, I'm just going to use a big word that she doesn't understand and get the topic that I want on the menu. So you carry on.
You did a video about
how
the
messy
extension I'd done in the Winter Village.
Right.
And so I was going to talk about all the problems I had with the brickwork. And so basically it was that it just didn't fit and the bricks were coming out of alignment and stuff.
Did I not say that in the video?
Possibly.
Okay.
But the thing is, a lot of people will tell you that it's because of masonry bricks.
Oh, really?
And this is because there's a couple of videos where people have basically done a brick wall using 1x2 masonry bricks all the way along a base plate, and it pulls the base plate up and distorts it, and then it doesn't fit anymore, and you've got stuff that's the wrong shape.
But they wouldn't have done that with 1x2 bricks, so they'd find the same problem, is what you're saying.
Yes,
but they won't do it.
So people have found it on masonry bricks, and that has spread into this idea that masonry bricks cause the problem, and it's not masonry bricks cause the problem; it's 1x2s cause the problem.
Yeah,
and it's because a 32 by 32 base plate is not 32 times the width of a 1x1 brick.
Right.
It's slightly bigger.
Okay.
And that's because if it was exactly the same as a 1x1, if you started from each end and put 1x1 bricks working its way towards the middle, you would not be able to put the last piece in.
Okay.
There has to be slight gaps to allow you to insert bricks.
Yeah.
And we've talked before about different companies making like knockoff Lego bricks, and some of the early ones didn't get the sizes right, and so it'd either be too big or too small, and so it didn't work properly. Mm-hmm. And people generally know this is true, that it's not the same width, because if you build a wall out of 1x2 Lego bricks and you shine a torch behind it, you see the vertical lines where the light comes through. And so, as we said, people won't do that using 1x2s normally. They only do it when they're using 1x2 masonry bricks. We hit it because we only had 1x2 bricks left. I'd already used all the 1x6s and 1x4s that we had. But I just thought it's an interesting thing that obviously the people who made the video, they just talked about their personal experience that happened to be with masonry bricks.
Right.
And then it got picked up by a couple of other people, and people started talking, and this whole rumour about masonry bricks started.
Yeah.
And it's really widespread. You hear it a lot of the time. And so I think that's where I want to talk about misinformation. It's not that the original person...
Misinformation, not disinformation.
It's the same thing.
It's not. One has an M at the start and one has a D.
Well
if you'd
done.
said misinformation, I would be like, I understand what you're talking about.
So misinformation is where you say something that is wrong or misleading.
Right.
Disinformation is where it's more...
organic. It's just...
intention.
Oh, okay.
And so...
I thought it was like misinformation that was dispersed. That's why it's dis. Okay. Carry on.
So the people making those original videos, they didn't mean to say that it was Mason Mix. That's just what they happened. And then as it slowly builds on, it builds up this thing. And so you get into the state where something that is in some ways true has been distorted into something that then implies more than it should.
Right.
And how easy it is for that to happen on the internet.
Oh, the wonderful world of the internet.
And then you'll kind of see this happening, where you see this happening a lot in Lego, is with the leaks. And it can just be a case of someone has found out a small piece of information.
It's like Chinese whispers.
They happen to phrase it in a specific way, and someone suddenly emphasises a different word, and it completely changes it. And then it just kind of snowballs into this massive thing.
Mm.
And then people get really upset when something they hoped for comes out, and it turns out to be completely different to what they'd thought. But if you go back to the original person, it's actually quite close to what was described.
Yeah. So
it's something that's really difficult for people to kind of protect against this, because like we don't do any research for this podcast.
We did once.
Did we?
The very first one, I had a load of notes.
Okay.
And then I realised that was very time consuming.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort.
And actually, I trust what I know anyway.
Mm.
Like, so I might be misinforming people. Yes. Sorry. But Gordon's in the comments to fix any misinformation that I put out. Fine. Thanks, Gordon.
But yeah, so you just have to be really careful about sources. And there's a really great story.
Ketchup.
About the inventor of the toaster.
Oh, we are talking about food, okay.
So, I don't know if it's still the case, but for a long time, if you went on Wikipedia, you could find out who the inventor of the toaster was. I think it was the inventor of the electric toaster, maybe. I can't remember. And it was this Scottish guy, and there was a picture of him, you know, it's all exciting. And it was all a lie.
Because someone had just written it on Wikipedia.
It was a guy in a lecture about how information can spread and how you need to check sources and stuff. And it was about how this professor had changed the page to talk about who the inventor of the toaster was. And so one of the students, whilst in the lecture, just changed it to be about him, got a picture, edited it so that it looked old, kind of thing, and put it on there. And then forgot about it for a while. And then for some reason, kind of it became a thing that people started talking about.
Is this something that we heard on Dave Bourne?
I don't know. It's the kind of thing you might have covered.
Yeah, I was going to say. Carry
on. But yeah, it's a really... What is this? So like his dad, I think, found out about it. And like... I wonder if we're related kind of thing. And I'm not recognising that it was his son's picture that had just been slightly edited. And you can almost get round to this. All you have to do is have something picked up by someone semi-reputable. So, like, you'll see this with...
But you're destroying that semi-reputableness by lying to them.
But you see this with BrickClicker.
BrickClicker.
He generally, the information he gets is very solid.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of times where he's had dodgy information, and if you watch the video, he's kind of explained that, and he said that the source is unreliable or whatever, but then the next person just says what they saw on BrickClicker.
Yeah.
And so they don't mention that BrickClicker said it was a dodgy source, and so suddenly it's become this reputable source. And that's what happens with Wikipedia. That all you need is for Wikipedia to reference a source that references a source that references a source that references Wikipedia, and that's enough. The Wikipedia circle is big enough that people won't follow it all the way through.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun and exciting thing that we have to deal with whilst using the internet, really.
Your definition of fun and exciting?
Yeah.
Not the same as mine.
Is it not?
No.
Oh.
Just thought you should know that.
And then when you bring AI into it, it all becomes
AI.
a mess.
AI is ridiculous at times. Like, you can ask AI a question and it'll go, yes and no. And you're like, well, which is it?
So AI is getting slightly better as we move forward.
Is it?
Depends on which AI you're looking at. Some of them are still really dodgy. But so, one of the weird things about AI is that it's not... So when we're talking about AI, we're talking specifically about generative AI. So this is things like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And what they do is, given an input, they try and generate what should come next.
Right.
They're not trying to generate something that's true. They're just trying to generate something that makes sense. And so they now have extra bits in there which then try and make it so that what it's saying is true, or catches it out if it isn't true, and it'll retry and stuff.
Will there be a point where, we've said something that's not true, now we need to send out the robots to make it true? Like, this person is dead. Turns out he's not. Right, quick, go kill him. Is that what's going to happen?
In some ways, that's how AI works. So if you said, like, I'm trying to think, how did Neil Buchanan die? If you ask the AI that, it will give you an answer.
But he's not dead.
He is not dead, but you have told the AI that he is, therefore it will run with that and come up with a plausible answer.
Will it remember that, though, and also give that to the other people?
Normally
is it
not.
Like session specific?
They don't learn in that regard.
Okay.
So, but, yeah, it's ridiculous.
But they're not going to go and kill Neil Buchanan?
Probably not.
I don't like the probably part.
Do you not?
No. Feel like you're saying that they might.
Well, if it's easier than working out what the truth is, then yeah, just kill him.
Don't do that. That's what I say.
So I just thought that this was interesting. So one of the fun things is going to be, as things go on,
Life.
is that, again, if you're reading something, like an article that's put out on April the 1st, you might assume that it's not true.
Yeah, makes sense.
Whereas an AI system doesn't know that.
Oh, no. April Fool's is going to completely screw over the AI. Wow. And that, like, people tend to leave those up and they put, like, a little thing at the top saying this was an April Fool's joke. Well,
sometimes. Yeah,
not always. So... Well, I don't think we should do April Fools. I mean, we talk about April Fools on the podcast every year. We look for the funniest ones.
Yeah.
And then we always have the discussion of, why the hell do we do this? It's ridiculous. It's not even funny. It's definitely not going to be funny if the AI bots pick it up.
Yeah.
And spout it as truth.
I'm wondering how many times people have to make the joke about the Lego leak set.
Which one?
The one where it's a leak.
Oh.
Of Lego, because that's at least a couple of years now we've seen that. If it makes it enough times, then will the AI systems learn about that enough to start thinking that it's a real thing?
Who's using AI around Lego
though? So there's an app which I keep seeing, which is like the perfect app for a Lego fan or something, and you can take a picture of something and then it uses AI to create that out of Lego.
I have seen that. Does it give you instructions and stuff on how to build?
I think so. But that's very much like if you wanted to do, I suppose, like the big Lego builds that you see like Marwell Zoo.
Yeah.
Those kind of big ones where it's mainly just 2x4s
right.
with different colours and they work out the layers and stuff. I think that's kind of how it's done. It's not trying to create a Lego set with intricate parts and nice parts usage. It is literally let's just make a shape that roughly fits with the right colours. Yeah. So you've got AI in that regard. I'm sure there must be some more stuff coming up as well. I don't know how much, like we don't play with any of the apps, but so like the one where you can create your own minifig. I don't know if they're going to add AI capability into that.
They got in trouble for using AI for... What did they use AI for? The
Ninjago. Was it
pictures.
posters or
Yeah.
trading cards or something? Yeah, where it got very dodgy, where basically the AI had been trained on a bunch of data that Lego didn't own. I think. And so they ended up being in completely the wrong style.
Yeah.
You know, it does. And that was, you know, Lego at that point went, well, we don't use AI. And that was a third party. And it's like, well, you're responsible for your third parties. You don't get to go, yeah, we hired this guy and he's rubbish. You know, it's like, well, you still hired the guy.
Yeah.
So...
It's on you.
But they're probably paying more attention now after that.
Yeah.
Debacle.
Debacle. Great word.
That's the word we'll go with.
Is that the word of the year?
No. I can't remember what the word of the year is. But
They've already decided. It's not even the...
Yeah.
What if someone comes up with one in the next 2 weeks?
No.
I'm going for a word. What word should I make? What kind of thing do we not have a word for already?
I don't know.
How about a husband who's really annoying because he always plays with Lego while you're trying to podcast? I think we should call you a... Something waffle.
Something waffle.
Yeah, a skib waffle. A skib waffle.
A skib waffle?
Yeah, a skib waffle.
How are you spelling this?
Is this an offensive word? Should I Google this
I
first?
don't know.
SKIB.
SKIB.
Waffle.
Skib waffle. All one word or hyphenated?
All one word.
Okay.
I'm Googling it now just in case. What if that's actually a thing? Highly offensive. Well, we just edit this out, right? You're a skib waffle. I'm doubling down on calling you it even though I haven't checked what it is.
Okay.
Is our internet broken?
It keeps popping up and down. It's very annoying.
What would you call a thing that keeps popping up and down? A skib waffle?
Yeah.
Can you Google skib waffle? Mine's not working.
Skib waffle. There is someone called Waffle Skib. They have a Pinterest account.
Nope, that doesn't count.
No. Well, that's all I can find.
Okay. Right, well, I'm making that the word of the year. Skib waffle. That's what you are.
Yeah.
I'm weird. Why? What would you make up a word for? I'm quite happy with the words that are already there. Okay. I don't feel like I need new ones.
Okay, so word of the year, Cambridge Dictionary has gone with manifest.
Manifest?
Yeah.
So it's not a new word?
Yeah, and it's a slightly different context, isn't it? That it's... In the context of to manifest stuff, that's where they're saying that the big change has come. So, yes, it has existed for a long time, but it's now suddenly popular. Brat is from Cambridge.
The banana, rice and apples and toast diet.
Yeah.
Do you know the brat thing that apparently after you've been sick, you should have bananas, rice, apples and toast.
Okay.
But that's not true. You should have whatever you fancy that you keep down.
Yeah. So it's slightly weird because they're... Right, I'm going to go through this. But yeah, their shortlist included brain rot, era, looks maxing,
what?
raw dogging, anti-tourism, delulu, romantasy.
What?
Romantasy is a genre of romance and fantasy.
But
apparently it's become a big thing. Supermajority.
What's a supermajority?
Supermajority is a political majority, which means that you can basically get anything you want done because you've got such a large majority.
Okay.
And yapping.
What's yapping?
Isn't just talking.
Oh, okay. What's brat?
Oh, brat is...
I mean, is it not like a small child that's annoying?
No.
It's a new version of brat.
Now, yeah. It's based off somebody's album or single, I can't remember. Okay. So it says, brat is different things to different people. A spiky attitude, a garish aesthetic, even a campaign slogan. Now, it started life as the title of an album by pop singer Charlie XCX.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. So it's kind of hedonistic kind of attitude, I think.
Okay.
Dictionary.com went with demure.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I find that so annoying. People that go, very, very, what's the other word? Very something, very demure. What's the first one? I don't know. It's very annoying.
I don't know how to pronounce this one, but
do you want me to read it for you?
As in Macquarie Dictionary?
No idea. Macquarie?
Their word of the year is enshittification.
What? What does that mean?
Let's have a look.
Is it the process of things going to shit?
I think so.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if this is this Australian then?
Oh, okay.
It apparently sums up how many Australians feel about the world at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Means a deterioration of a product or service. There you go.
Like this podcast that used to talk about Lego, and now we're just looking at words.
Yeah, it's good. Well, so Merriam-Webster's word of the year is polarisation.
Okay.
How some people may feel about this episode. Oxford Dictionary went with brain rot. But so Oxford Dictionary went with brain rot as 2 words.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it can be
No.
word of the year.
That's silly. So raw dogging, like people use it in the context. Like I saw someone saying, "Oh, the dad turned up for a 24-hour flight, and he just sort of wandered on without any prep for the flight."
Yeah. So that's what raw dogging has become.
Yeah.
It
was a
doing
way
stuff without preparation.
Right, but it was totally a different thing before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Urban Dictionary, that one if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all the words that I could find.
Okay. So you're saying, be careful what you say on the internet, because people will take it the wrong way, and then that will be proliferated around and become fact, even when it's not.
Yeah.
Be careful what you read on the internet, because the exact same reason.
Yeah.
And
you don't have to assume that everyone is lying to you.
But you
just
should.
Assume that everyone is wrong.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way of doing it.
I think that's already my current stance.
Is it?
Yeah. Everyone is wrong. Mainly you. I thought this was going to be an episode where you said that I said things that weren't true in that episode. So I'm pleased that you were specifically talking about masonry bricks.
Okay. I wasn't. I was specifically not talking about masonry bricks.
No, you were talking about how masonry bricks aren't the only example of that problem.
Yes.
They're just the ones that people assume makes the problem.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem, but it's not masonry bricks at all.
Yes.
Be nice to the masonry bricks, even though you hate them.
It's true. So there we go. There is our episode on disinformation. Some or all of it may be lies. Feel free to join us.
Disinformation is it's my episode. Get off.
Okay.
Is disinformation when you are lying, essentially?
I kind of feel misinformation is mistake where you're doing it by mistake, and disinformation is more where it's intentional.
So a lot of social media do intentionally put information out that's wrong in order to get engagement. Because they know people will say that's not true.
Yeah.
So is that disinformation?
Yes.
Okay. And do you think that's a bad thing? Yes. Yeah. I think it is. Because people believe that they don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just silly.
Yeah. You also have to be really careful with, some people say, like, what was the really weird one that I heard people say?
I don't know, Ian. What was the really weird one?
So, there was the argument that... Okay, I'll wait for you to finish on. So there's the argument that depending on what colour skin you have, you can say different stuff.
Okay.
And so this was a black person can say something in like a meeting at work, and that will be okay. Whereas if the white person said it, it'd be wrong. And it's like, well, no. What you have to remember is that not everyone who hears what will be said knows the colour of the skin of the speaker.
Yeah. So if it's not acceptable for one person to say, it shouldn't be acceptable for everyone to say.
So you always have to take that into account when anything's going out kind of... If it's a kind of a comedian, then it's different.
If it's a comedian.
So there's this whole idea that you can always punch up in comedy.
Punch up?
Yeah. So you can make fun of a person or a group of people who are above you in some form. So therefore, it's okay for disabled people to make fun of able-bodied people, right. But it's not okay to do it the other way around because that'd be punching down.
Okay.
And so that's fine. But in a corporate setting...
You can't punch anyway.
You can't
no punching.
Assume that people know what you look like, and you also can't assume anyone knows tone either.
Yeah.
Because things will go through AI in order to translate it, and those don't take tone with them. So...
That's fair.
It's always the slightly weird thing of some of the more controversial comedians who will make jokes and say that it's okay because it's just a joke, and then you see other people repeating the jokes.
Right.
And it's like at this point they've stopped being jokes.
Mm.
So, yeah, fun stuff happens on the internet.
Do you think we should just get rid of the internet?
I saw there was a newspaper article, I think it was around 2000, talking about how, like, the internet was dying and because, like, if you think about, like, .com boom, and then everything kind of fell away, and it's like, oh, people are moving away from the internet, people aren't using the internet anymore, that fad has finally finished kind of thing. Like,
that was wrong.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
The internet is really, really great.
For sausages.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to rate the room?
Do you want me to rate the room?
I would like you to intentionally lie to the people and tell them it's a 10 out of 10.
I can't do that.
Pay you.
Okay, how much?
I'm not paying you. I'm not ashamed. It's fine. It's better.
A bit better. You can have a -2.
Yay! Okay. Can I rate your face?
Perfect.
Just feel like it would be nice to give you a -. I love you. I don't see how I can make this room tidy ever and use it. I think that's the issue.
It is difficult.
Yeah. That maybe goes for the whole house. I could make it tidy, but we can't live here. Ever.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that happening.
Well, it's not. That's a pointless thing to do, isn't it? Right. Okay. Let us know your thoughts on disinformation, misinformation, all the informations in the comments below. And can you think of another example, like Masonry Bricks, where it's not true? Also, if you want to listen to previous episodes of the podcast, where they're slightly more about Lego and less about words, I'll link those up at the end. And we'll catch you next time for another exciting episode of the podcast. Bye.
Bye-bye.